Here are three major property titles you need to know about before you buy your first property. My name is Adiola Sanusi. I am the MD CEO of XLHomes Realty, and we bring you the best deals in real estate in Nigeria and in Africa. Ensure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification button so you do not miss any of our weekly videos. Before we go ahead to talk about the three major property titles you need to know about before you buy your first property, it is essential for you to understand that according to the Land Use Act of 1978, all land belongs to the state government. So based on this understanding, it's good for you to note that ownership of a particular property is basically going to be transferred from the government to the new owner. Now, this is definitely going to now lead me to the three major property titles to know of. Number one is excision. Now, what is excision? To excise a land means to cut it. When I say to cut it, it means governments decide to release some portion of the land which we already know belongs to the government, release it. Then when they decide to release it to some certain indigents, then that means they have excised that portion of the land to those indigents. The moment this excision is being published in the government gazette, then the perfect title for this is gazette. They call it official government gazette. For example, we already know that all lands belong to the government, right? So imagine some indigents in, say, Ikate Elegushi, for example. They've been there for years and they have about 100 hectares of land in a particular area. They can now seek with the government to excise about 40 out of the 100 for them. So essentially it means the remaining 60 belongs to the government, while the remaining 40 is going to have a title called government excision. The moment this excision has been fully registered in the government gazette, then it becomes a perfect title called government gazette. The second, which is the most popular, is called the certificate of occupancy, C of O. C of O is essentially a document that shows that a particular portion of land belongs to you for a period of 99 years. And in some states, they don't call it C of O. Some states like Abuja, they call it R of O, which is right of occupancy. It essentially shows that a particular portion of land has been transferred. The ownership of that land has been transferred to an individual for a certain period of time, usually 99 years. Now, there's always a warning signal when it comes to C of O. The moment you want to buy a property with C of O, ensure you check at the Ministry of Lands to be sure of the number of years that is left for the C of O to be valid. So you don't buy a property that has like maybe just 8 or 7 years of validity. It is actually very important to check that. You don't just jump into a property because it has a C of O. Third one, which is the last but not the least, is governor's consent. So what is governor's consent? The easiest way for me to explain a governor's consent to you is this way. So for example, you bought a piece of land from the Ikate Elegushi family that I mentioned that already excised about 40 hectares of land the other time in the other example. Now, the moment you bought maybe like an hectare from this particular family, they are going to be issuing you a deed of assignment. Now, that deed of assignment is what shows that they've actually transferred title from themselves to you. This deed of assignment is not actually a perfect title because you actually need to get it registered before it becomes a perfect title. And the only way you can perfect your deed of assignment is by getting a governor's consent. So a governor's consent on your deed of assignment shows that the governor has consented to the transfer of ownership from the Omoniles to you. So that is basically what governor's consent means. It now means that you are the rightful and registered owner of that particular property and you can easily transfer title to any other person. Remember I said in one of my previous videos that the rule that stands here is nemo dat quod non habet, which means you cannot give what you do not have or what you do not have right title over. So by registering your deed of assignment, you have gotten a governor's consent to show that you have ownership of that particular property and you can easily transfer ownership at any time. So are you a first-time home buyer? You're looking to understand more about property titles before you make your buying decision of a land or maybe a house anywhere in Lagos, anywhere in Nigeria, ensure you reach out to myself, Adiola Sanusi, the MD CEO of XLHomes Realty. We are here to guide you every step of the way to provide you with professional advice before you buy any property. Also ensure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification button so you do not miss any of our weekly videos. Thank you very much for your time. See you next time.